Hi, my name is Haley Castillo, and my case study is over wildfires in Fairbanks. So, why are wildfires a threat? So, with some research and digging around, I found four main things that are the biggest issues. And so, the first one, that's going to be that wildfires have been becoming more and more frequent due to climate change. And then, some fires in Fairbanks are difficult to get to, and firefighters do struggle sometimes reaching and putting them out on time. Next, the fires cause the permafrost in Alaska, which, especially in Fairbanks, there's a lot of permafrost kind of all scattered all over the place. But it causes that permafrost to melt faster, and it's so hazardous for the people because, well, they built their homes and stuff on those, so it kind of creates the ground to move around and make it difficult to live in those areas anymore. And the other thing is, with fire comes smoke. So smoke is a definite hazard to the environment and to people as well. So I talked a little bit of wildfire prevention, and so this is something that the community and firefighters and all fire management can play a role in. So with the community, they can do things like smoke prevention. So inhaling can lead to respiratory failure. So by finding out if there's fires nearby, such as prescribed burns or wildfires, they could do this with social media or just looking it up, kind of if something isn't right, just to kind of avoid it or try to avoid areas like parks and stuff like that that might be close to something like fires and such. And another thing is to maintain a property with defendable, and that's just cutting bushes, dry, dead plants and stuff, anything flammable really. I have a little picture over there, so that's what defendable space is, just so your fire doesn't get to your house really fast or kind of just avoids the area in general. And then with the firefighters, so the best thing for them would probably be just keeping main communications, keeping it clear, making sure that they're talking with fire management as well. And the other thing is to keep up with their training. So another issue that I discovered was accessibility. And so there are a few downsides. I did find an upside as well. So for the downsides, that's going to be obtaining the proper resources. And with this, I have a little highway map here, if we needed to, for supplies for taking out the fires, water, getting things like that, just getting those resources to the location, there's not a lot of different routes you can take, and if those areas get blocked off, it can become a lot more difficult. And reaching those places, same issue, in a timely manner, there's not a lot of routes to get to certain places, so if you want to get there, it could take a while. And then an upside that I did find is, so the firefighters in Fairbanks are gaining a lot of experience. There's a lot of so that means there's a lot of, I guess you can call, practice with fires. They learn about different types of fires and how to handle them, and they kind of just get more comfortable with dealing with these things, which means there's less errors. And that's very helpful because wildfires can be very unpredictable, and the more experience you have, the faster it's going to be to take it out. And so I did find a few gaps here, and one big issue is what I mentioned before was climate change. And because the temperature is getting hotter and hotter, that means that it's also, because Fairbanks in Alaska is a desert, that means that it's getting drier as well, and that means also the likelihood of fires starting up gets higher, and so more fires can start in more frequency each year, which is not easy to keep up with. And then the other thing was Alaska infrastructure, so that would be the cabins, and those, of course, are flammable, but those houses are very adaptable for living in Alaska because of the freeze and then it all melting away. It's very well adapted with that, but with fires, it's not as friendly. That's why it's very important to have those defendable spaces, but in Alaska, where there's lots of trees and everything, it kind of can get hard to manage, but that's one of the biggest issues that I was able to find and the biggest gaps to keep up with. And then we're excited.